Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar series. My name is Caden McLaughlin. I'm a certified financial planner, IRS enrolled agent with Wealth Advisor 365. And my role is to help business owners, contractors like yourself, prepare for retirement, minimize their tax situation, and proactively plan ahead. I'm joined by my good friend Fred with me today. He is a chartered public accountant, and he's got his own firm here in South Florida as well. He's been working with business owners and self-employed contractors for many years now. And we put together this webinar. We're going to take a look at the top 10 things that you need to be doing before December 31st if your goal is to minimize your tax liability. Fred, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Hey guys, as Caden was just saying, my name's Fred Pacelli. I am a CPA based out of South Florida, mostly working with small businesses with their compliance, basic accounting, such as bookkeeping and tax preparation. So what I'm going to go over now is the 5 basic things all contractors and businesses need to have in place before we can even begin to get into the tax planning and financial planning. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is setting up quarterly payments to avoid big penalties. So if you don't make these quarterly payments, it's very possible, or it is possible, the IRS is going to hit your business with late payments and underpayment fees that really could add up to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in just penalties alone, and in some cases even more. So to do this, we're going to calculate these estimates based off of last year's taxes. We're going to make sure we hit the 4 quarterly dates and submit payment by then, which is April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th. We're going to send an estimated of 25% of the annual tax, and then we're going to utilize the IRS Direct Pay Online interface to make those payments. It's a very good interface, very simple to use, and you can issue payments directly with the IRS. So the next thing I want to talk about is once we have the estimates set up, payments submitted, or at least in the process of doing that, we also need to make sure you have separate bank accounts for your business and your personal expenses. So you never want to commingle funds. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a business checking account, then possibly a business credit card, and make sure only business expenses and sales or other types of revenues are going to be reported in those accounts. Do not put any personal items in there. If you are commingling funds, there is a possibility that the IRS may disallow certain business expense deductions. So it's very key to make sure we separate business and personal expenses to maximize your business deduction and help minimize that tax liability. So this now gives a good segue into what we're going to do with the accounting and bookkeeping. We're going to track everyday business expenses. So we're going to set up your QuickBooks, or if you already have QuickBooks, we're going to ensure all your business bank accounts and business credit cards and any other type of account where cash is flowing through is going to be synced to QuickBooks. Daily, there's going to be a batch process, and this information is going to be populated into QuickBooks. This is where we categorize the expenses and revenue types. We're basically going to make sure we're maximizing deductions, excluding any personal expenses from this. Other things you might want to do, make sure you have receipts, take photos of them, keep invoices, purchase orders, other source documentation like that, just to have as supporting documentation. Make sure you're tracking your mileage for vehicle deductions, and make sure you hold on to these records for at least 7 years. So once we do all of that, then we do have to talk about preparing to pay for taxes. And one of the biggest taxes that self-employed people are going to pay is the self-employment tax. So as a self-employed individual, you have to pay the employee and employer portion of the FICA taxes, which is Medicare and Social Security. This comes to about 15.3%. This is going to be based off of roughly the net profit. There's a slight deduction in there, which we can get into more later. And then you're also going to be able to deduct some of this tax paid on your 1040 individual tax return at the end of the year. So also, if you make over 400 in net profit, you're going to have to pay self-employment tax on this. So very key to make sure you're keeping track of your net profit. You know what your net profit is, and you're building in this estimate throughout the year to be prepared for tax filing season. Okay. Lastly, very important for contractors is we want to make sure the income records that you're giving vendors, which are going to be through 1099s, match everything. So what's going to happen is at the end of the year, by February 2nd, you are going to have to issue a 1099 to all the contractors you had at your company. You're going to do this by giving them a W-9. So if you use QuickBooks, we can do this all electronically. If not, you can physically send it out and have them fill it out. Essentially, this is going to have all their personal info. This is what we're going to use to create the 1099. Then we're going to send the 1099 out by February 2nd. Make sure it's good to go. That 1099 will be a business deduction for you, and it will be income for the contractor that you worked with. So as I was saying, those were the 5 areas that we have to really focus on and get in compliant before Caden can really start implementing good tax strategy and financial planning. And I'll let him get a little more into that now.
Thank you, Fred. So yes, everything that we've just looked at is imperative. When contractors reach out, when they're in your situation, everyone wants to minimize taxes. Everyone puts it off to the very last second. And the problem is we can't start planning. We have no basis to even understand what opportunities are available to you until we have clean reporting. And that's why it's imperative you need to be working with a CPA like Fred, because he's going to be staying on top of this throughout the year with you. He's going to be working to make sure that you have financial management systems. He's going to be working with you to make sure QuickBooks is reconciled properly. He's going to make sure that all of your financial reports, like your profit and loss, your balance sheet, your tax returns filed properly, all of those things are finalized, so that way we can dive in to the planning opportunities. Now that we've gone through that, let's walk through 5 opportunities that are very common for Florida contractors everywhere, and just start to show you some of the options that we can put together to start saving before December 31st. The first one that comes to mind is the home office deduction. This has become very popular in the last few years. It started in Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It's been continued and really grew popularity through COVID. It's going to be based on your square footage. So what we need to have an understanding of is, where are you living? How big is your house? And how big is the office within that house? From there, you have 2 different opportunities for this calculation. You can use a simplified method the IRS provides, or we can use actual expenditures. Now, I've never once in any of my situations seen the simplified method make more sense. You're capped at 300 square feet and $5 per square foot. The price per square foot cap is much more important than the square footage itself. I don't see too many people that have 300 square foot offices. But once we have that, and this is where the QuickBooks and having a great CPA like Fred comes into place. In order to use the actual expenditures, we need to know what they are. They need to be reconciled properly. So this deduction, I've seen it can save anywhere from $1,500 up to $5,000 and $5,000 more. If you're going to be taking this deduction and using it, it's always good to dot your I's, cross your T's, and make sure that you have documentation for the IRS. I'm a little over the top, but I say take photos. That way, if the IRS asks, you at least have that evidence ready. The biggest opportunity for business owners is going to be the qualified business income deduction. You're going to be able to save 20% of all of your net profit with this business income deduction that was put into place in 2017. Now, the entity election that you have, the rest of your tax situation, what tax bracket you're in, all of these other factors really play an important consideration in what this deduction will be. But very common, Fred and I see it all of the time, for this to save business owners anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000 annually. It's very simple. It's right there built into the tax return, nothing special that you need to do with it. But as we think about the future going into 2026 with one big beautiful bill provisions, it's going to become a lot more of a calculation and modeling involved. It's not the same path that it is this year or last year. It's going to become a really more interesting play for you to consider moving forward as well. One that comes up almost all the time when we're talking about contractors is the vehicle mileage deduction. Again, this is going to be a hot button for IRS audits. Fred can tell you about it nonstop, I'm sure. There's a lot of nuances to it, a couple different ways to go about it. Broadly speaking, as a concept, this vehicle needs to be used 51% or more for business purposes. So take a vehicle that you've purchased, you have $10,000 in vehicle deductions throughout the year. It was driven 51% for business use. You're going to have a $5,100 tax deduction on your tax return when you file this. Beyond that, depending on your situation, if you need a new vehicle, there's also deductions. Section 179 affords you the ability to take a full deduction on that vehicle purchase up front. There are nuances with weights. Again, there's some other things with bonus depreciation. It's become quite complicated in the last few years. But if you need a truck, this is a great deduction opportunity. Where I see contractors misuse this or make mistakes is buying a new vehicle thinking that it's going to save them in taxes just for that tax deduction. At the end of the day, for every dollar that you spend, the maximum that you can save is 37 cents on the dollar. So don't go out and blow $100,000 on a GMC Sierra HD truck. It's only going to save you $37,000 best case scenario at the end of the day. My personal favorite tax strategy for business owners and entrepreneurs is opening up a retirement account. I know it's not flashy or really what you're looking for. It's not sexy, but it is your biggest opportunity. It is your lowest hanging fruit. And it's one of the most important things that you need to shore up once you've made that jump into entrepreneurship and you've started your own business. You no longer have the benefits that a company traditionally provides, like health insurance and retirement benefits. This is really important to think about retirement because you don't have a company looking out for you. You are the company. If you structure this correctly before December 31st for implementation, we could explore something like a solo 401k. That would give you up to $70,000 in deductions this year, assuming you're making pre-tax contributions. There's also Roth options if you prefer to pay the taxes now. If you think you're going to be in a higher bracket later, that might make more sense too. The most important thing here is you need to have the solo 401k account opened up by December 31st, and then you'll have until April 15th to fund it. Before you set up that solo 401k, you're really going to want to make sure if you have workers or people working for you, you're going to want to do a key employee analysis. That's going to be an URSA jargon retirement term. But what's important with that solo 401k and really all retirement contributions that you make is you can't discriminate against employees. You're not going to be able to contribute $70,000 for your retirements and then give zero to an employee if they are truly an IRS versioned employee. So what we need to do is we need to run through your entire list, check out who's working for you. The IRS has a very specific 20-factor checklist that they use. We want to basically run every employee or worker that you have through that checklist and see if they're going to count. Assuming you have no employees, no W-2 employees, assuming everyone that works for you is a contractor, you're going to be able to take advantage of that solo 401k option. Now, if you have workers, there are plenty of other retirement accounts that we could consider and ways for you to contribute, but you're definitely going to want to work with a professional in that situation. It gets rather complicated quickly. And that is really going to be the first 5 top tax strategies that we would be looking at if you decided to do a tax planning engagement. Of course, all of that is predicated on having accurate books and records and tax returns filed. That's why you need a professional like Fred. He gets you on the front end. A professional like myself on the back end does the proactive planning moving forward. Team like us comes together. It's really where you get the maximum value of working with professionals for your finances. Again, Caden McLaughlin, certified financial planner, IRS enrolled agent. My firm is Wealth Advisor 365, based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm helping contractors and business owners all throughout the state of Florida. Location doesn't matter. We're a virtual firm. If you want to reach out, please check out the website, wealthadvisor365.com. Feel free to email me, Caden@wealthadvisor365, or feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text. My direct line is 561-475-2490. Again, 561-475-2490. Fred, I'll let you finish up your ending here.
Yes, guys. Again, so I'm Fred Pacelli, CPA based out of South Florida, basically the West Palm Beach area. Completely virtual firm as well, so I can take on any client really in Florida or other states. My company is Pacelli Accounting Services. Email is fredpacelli.cpa@gmail.com. You can reach me there, or you can reach me via phone call at 561-386-3997. Again, that's 561-386-3997. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. If you have any questions, you could definitely send emails to both of us, call us, or probably even go through the Facebook channel.
You want to tell them about our offer, our final offer that we have for them?
Yes. So basically, we are going to have a 40-minute joint session with a tax planner, with my colleague Caden, and then me, the CPA, based out of South Florida. So essentially, we're going to be having, it's going to be normally a $400 offer, but it's going to be $200 for the first 5 contractors. Is a consultation, all inclusive. Basically, we're going to go through your financials, your accounting, get your prior year tax returns, see if there's any amendments, any strategies we can implement. And we're pretty sure we could at least save you $1,000 in that first session. Basically, to book, you're going to scan this QR code right here. And then, we really look forward to meeting with you guys, going over your finances and seeing what money we can save you.
Exactly, guys. This is really a no-brainer. The price of this is cheaper than what Fred and I charge on our hourly rates individually, let alone combined. You're going to have a CPA, a certified financial planner, and an IRS enrolled agent working for you 40 minutes. We're going to dive right into your finances. All we need from you is your last filed tax return and access to your QuickBooks. We'll get it up front after you book. If you don't have your financials or QuickBooks set up, that's fine. We'll get a copy of your profit and loss or something else. We'll figure it out. The point is, I've never seen another opportunity to hop on with a CPA and a financial planner at the same time for this price. We're doing it for you guys, just for this group. Florida Contractors Exchange and Resources. Scan that QR code and reach out before December 31st. Thank you.